Metals is advancing its ADNAC Molybdenum project in northwestern British Columbia. The project has a pending preliminary economic assessment. The company also has an exploration project. Eric Sprott has 11% stake in EraNova. The president and CEO is Meredith Eades. Meredith, welcome to Mining Stock Daily.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Outline the current state of the molybdenum project, Meredith. You write that the project was taken through to feasibility permitting and even early stage construction before being paused by the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah, so the ADNAC Moly project was previously advanced through feasibility permitting, EAC, and into that early stage construction before being paused during the 2008 financial crisis, as you said. And today what we're doing is we're reestablishing that economic foundation with an updated PEA, which we expect to have in the next 4 to 8 weeks. While we're also kind of looking and taking a broader look at the broader system, which is a district scale high-grade polymetallic intrusive system, which we think offers a lot of exploration optionality on top of the development of the Moly asset.
Where are you situated?
We're located in Atlin, which is just a couple hours south of Whitehorse, but in northern BC. And what's special about our location is while we're in BC, we have a lot of infrastructure, which is a real strength of the project. We have road access. We're 20 kilometers from the heart of the deposit. There's some power nearby. We have water on site, which puts us in a strong position compared to a lot of other projects in BC. And then there's also plans to connect to the Yukon grid, which Atlin ties into, and that kind of supports a bit of longer term infrastructure in the region.
Now I just want to step back for a bit as well too, but looking at your corporate deck, you do have dual projects right now. So you have the molybdenum, and then we'll talk a little bit later also about the precious metals project as well. And they're roughly in the same area?
Yeah, so it's on the Ruby Creek property, which is a 30,000 hectare land package just outside of Atlin.
Okay, so let's talk about the molybdenum project. So you have a PEA modeling at $15 molybdenum, where we're currently sitting well above that, $24 to $25 a pound. This environment really does it change the ambition? Does it change the timeline for the project?
Yeah, so that's a really important data point and something that we're factoring into how we think about the project as we advance it. The Moly price and cost environments are key drivers in development decisions. So we're evaluating different paths with that in mind. And Moly actually is up to $35 a pound right now, which is really exciting.
I think thank you. I think just clarifying, I was looking at an average price, I guess, over the past year. Talking about, though, that the previous company took it up to, I think before the pause, was it an issue of just prices not supportive of the time?
Ultimately, it was really due to the the stock market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they were building, and what I understand is that some of the bridge financing was invested in U.S. housing bonds. And so when that whole situation happened, a lot of the market was scared, and so the funding was pulled. And I think that was ultimately the demise. So it's like one of those projects that's right there and happening, and then some catastrophic event that you haven't seen in decades pulls the whole thing to a halt.
How's the infrastructure up there? You did mention the roads, but what do you have and what do you need?
Yeah, so as I said, the infrastructure here is a real strength of our project. The road from Atlin goes right to the heart of the deposit. You can be back in town in 30 minutes. And so while there'll always be additional requirements as you advance a project, we have already what we need to get started as where we are right now.
The status or relationship with First Nations, have you secured any agreements?
Yeah, so we're in communications with local First Nations, which is Taku River Tlingit. They have a history of working constructively with mining projects. It's a relatively small group, and as we advance the project and generate more economic data, we'll be in a position to have a more substantive discussion around it.
Now, the project was brought to a really late stage before the 2008 financial crisis. Maybe talk about the permitting, what you have and what you need. We were talking before this, and the permitting right now that's on it is care and maintenance, but how far does it push you ahead, and what else is required?
Yeah, so let me answer that one in two parts. So on the exploration side, we're in the final stages of securing our mineral exploration permit, and that's required for drilling. So we're very close there. And on the development side, the project previously held a mine permit, which doesn't expire, but it's currently in care and maintenance. So given that we're not using it, it'll stay in care and maintenance. But with that said, we don't see permitting as a fundamental issue going forward.
You mentioned some rare earth in a news release a while ago. You were talking about, I think it was a 1,087 parts per million rare earth. How does this change the economics of the PA, or is it a secondary consideration?
Yeah, I'd say this is a secondary consideration at this stage. The numbers are encouraging and critical minerals are clearly important right now, but it would require additional work and exploration before we can say anything more definitive. But it's something we're paying attention to and intend to evaluate a little further.
Porphyry style deposits are typically amenable to open pit bulk mining. Is this the envisioned approach for Aranac, or and what does the strip ratio look like?
Yeah, so this is a classic open pit climax style porphyry system. The strip ratio is about 0.95 to 1, which is very favorable. And that's one of the reasons we're excited about the project. The near surface nature and strip profile supports a strong project economics.
Remaining inputs needed for the PA?
No, there's no major outstanding inputs. We're just kind of working through finalizations, and we expect to have that in the next 4 to 8 weeks.
Are you funded?
Yeah, like any project, we will require capital to advance it, but we're actively engaging with some groups, and a funding round will definitely be part of the path forward. But ultimately, market conditions will dictate that. But we do think there are some options available to us that I just can't speak to yet.
Okay, so we were talking about your development project. Let's now talk about your exploration project. In March, you announced samples of 257 grams per ton gold, 3,660 grams per ton silver at Lakeview. Talk about this. Talk about this exploration target.
Yeah, so this is a really important part of the exploration story. These Lakeview results are one piece of that district scale high grade intrusive system that we have on the broader property. This is one of multiple targets, and it highlights the broader exploration upside beyond the molybdenum asset.
So what's the drill program look like, and what's it going to be going forward for Lakeview?
So we're currently working through that as part of our broader planning. Drilling programs are ultimately tied to capital, as you know. So we're aligning our exploration strategy with financing plans as we move forward.
Lastly, milestones over the next 12 months?
So over the next 12 months, key milestones would be, of course, the completion of our PEA, advancing the Moly project towards feasibility, progressing some exploration across the broader district. We'd like to do some reprocessing of the bulk sample, the mini bulk sample that we took on the silver surprise zone that had that 16,000 grams per ton. And then defining and drilling those high priority targets. So we believe the project is highly prospective, and we expect a steady news flow as we advance both the development and the exploration side of the story.
Looks like you're going to be attending both precious metal conferences and critical mineral conferences.
I think that might be in my future. I'll be a busy girl.
Thank you very much for talking to Mining Stock Daily.
Thank you so much for having me.
The information presented should not be considered investment advice. Mining Stock Daily and its affiliates are not responsible for any loss arising from any investment decision in connection with the material presented herein. Please do your own research or speak with a licensed financial representative before making any investment decisions.